Could this type of blockbuster trade turn the Red Sox offseason around? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. Let's be honest here. There has been absolutely nothing from the Boston Red Sox so far this offseason, and we don't really know where they're gonna go, right? We have no idea where they stand in the Yamamoto sweepstakes. It doesn't look like that's going to be a very realistic possibility right now, and it feels like the Red Sox, based on everything we've seen, are a long shot for Yamamoto. We also don't know if they end up not getting Yamamoto, where they pivot from there. One of the options they could choose is to go the trade route. And there's one trade right now that could be a possibility that would absolutely turn this offseason totally on its head if they were able to get it done. However, there are a few contingencies and there are also some roadblocks in the way of getting this type of trade going. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break down this trade. We're going to talk about what the trade looks like. We're going to talk about why it would be so beneficial to the Red Sox. We're going to talk about what is standing in the way and how the Red Sox could possibly overcome that. And we're going to be talking about what the likelihood of a trade like this is. But before we get into that, just a heads up, we are going to be live tomorrow night, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. We're going to be going over the latest on the Red Sox offseason. We're going to be talking about rumors, news, anything you can imagine. We are going to be talking about it live and in person on this channel. Again, that is 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so the trade we're talking about today, the one that would hypothetically fix everything for the Boston Red Sox, would be for the Red Sox to target Corbin Burnes and Willy of the Milwaukee Brewers. And in order to get those guys, they would give up Cutter Crawford, Nick York, Ceddanne Rafaela, and Josh Winkowski. Now, let's break this down from a Red Sox point of view first. We've actually talked about Corbin Burnes a couple of times on this channel, but if you need a refresher or just because I love talking about Corbin Burnes, Burnes is an absolute certified ace. He's had a fantastic major league career so far that has spanned over 6 seasons, where he's amassed a 3.26 ERA with an almost below 1.055 whip and a FIP that sits at 3.11, which means that Burnes was actually overall better than his ERA led on. He performed better than his ERA, which is extremely impressive considering how low his ERA is to begin with. He also had an 11 K per 9 and a 2.6 walk per 9. Basically, he struck out a lot more guys than he walked, which has led to a career 129 ERA plus, or about 29% more productive than the average pitcher in Major League Baseball during those 6 seasons. He's going into his age 29 season, so he's still relatively young, especially compared to a lot of the starting pitchers on the open market right now at his level, right? Yamamoto is obviously younger, but Blake Snell's older, Jordan Montgomery's older, and before Aaron Nola signed, he was older as well. This dude is also a workhorse. Of his 4 seasons as a true starter in Major League Baseball, the only time he had less than 25 starts was in 2020 because of the shortened season, but every other year outside of that, he's made at least 25, 28 and 21, league leading 33 in 2022, and last year he started in 32 games. This is a dude who immediately is a proven ace level talent that is still young and still has a few really great years left, and he is an absolute workhorse, a guy that you know is going to be able to take the ball every 5 days and be a legitimate factor on this Red Sox team at the top of their rotation. The other guy in this trade is Willy Adames, who's also had a really solid big league career up until this point. He's also played in 7 years as well, and during that time he had a 247 average with a 320 on base percentage and a 439 slug, good for a 107 OPS plus, or about 7% above league average production at the plate. So nothing absolutely crazy, but above average league hitter and a guy who's going to give you consistent, at the bare minimum, league average production at the plate. However, he's going to strike out a lot with a 26% K rate in 2023, but this guy is going to give you really solid right-handed middle of the order type power. With 24 home runs last year, and the 2 years before that he had above 30. On top of that, he's also an excellent defender with 20 defensive runs saved at shortstop in his 6-year career, and last year he had 16 outs above average, which led to him being in the 99th percentile for outs above average in baseball. There was a very small fraction of Major League Baseball amongst qualified players that had a better defensive season last year than Willy Adames. He also has some experience at second base as well. So what you're talking about when you're talking about acquiring Willy Adames, you're looking at, okay, this is a guy who's immediately going to improve the middle infield defense of the Boston Red Sox. He's also going to bring a lot of home run potential, a lot of power potential to a position that really could use it, and he can be that middle of the order right-handed power bat we've been asking the Boston Red Sox to get this entire offseason. Now combine the two and you're filling the three biggest needs the Red Sox have right now on their current roster: a second baseman, a right-handed power bat, and a true bona fide ace. And everything sounds fine and dandy, right? This sounds like an absolutely perfect fit, the Red Sox and the Brewers. However, there are a couple of snags here that could be standing in the way. The biggest roadblock, in my opinion, that the Red Sox face is the fact that both of these players are out of arbitration after the 2024 season, meaning that after 2024, they are free agents. Now, this isn't an entirely huge deal from the Willy Adames side of things. The Red Sox pipeline right now is sort of lining up for 2025 to really start being the year of injections from the minor leagues, so they could use Willy Adames as a stopgap measure to get to those more elite type prospects. However, Willy Adames is obviously still going to cost you something, so is it worth it for the Red Sox to trade for this type of stopgap second baseman? In my opinion, it still is, but that's definitely a question for the Red Sox. However, it's certainly not as big of a question with Willy Adames as it is with Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes is a big-time player. He's going to demand a big-time return, and for the Red Sox over this offseason so far, they've really been focused on trying to bring in longer-term solutions to their pitching problems than trying to get one-year rentals. Corbin Burnes is a free agent after 2024, and to give up what you're going to have to give up to get him could be a huge roadblock in the way of the Red Sox acquiring Corbin Burnes and Willy Adames. However, that doesn't make it absolutely impossible. In fact, we've already seen one team figure out a solution to this problem this offseason, where the Dodgers traded for Tyler Glasnow as well as Manuel Margot, and immediately they were able to extend Tyler Glasnow. In fact, it was part of the negotiating process in these trades was that they talked to Tyler Glasnow and agreed on an extension if he were to be traded to the Dodgers. The Red Sox could possibly do something like that as well with Corbin Burnes. However, there's one big difference between Corbin Burnes and Tyler Glasnow, and that is a man named Scott Boras. Corbin Burnes is a Scott Boras client, which means it's going to be a whole lot more difficult for the Red Sox to extend Burnes than it would be for the Dodgers to extend Glasnow. However, again, it's not impossible. You're just going to have to overpay a little bit, which for the Red Sox should be absolutely fine. You've wanted to flex your financial ability this offseason. This could be the perfect opportunity to do that, especially if you feel like you're going to lose out on Yamamoto. If you give Corbin Burnes 7 years, $245 million, or about what he'd be worth on the open market, which would be $35 million a year, in my mind, there might be no reason for Corbin Burnes to be like, yeah, I'm still going to wait it out and go to free agency, right? And obviously, there's still a chance at this, but it's not impossible. I just think personally, this is the biggest roadblock the Red Sox are going to have to get over. They either, one, need to flex that financial ability and get this guy here and overspend to get him here, or they need to see if they are willing to take the chance on him coming here and then trying to negotiate a free agent contract, right? That's sort of your two options here with Corbin Burnes. The third one would be to give him that 1 year rental and then sort of hope and pray you can get him back in free agency, which really doesn't seem like something the Red Sox are going to do. So that's sort of the biggest roadblock right now, but there is another one as well. The Brewers can be a bit particular with who they are going to be trading for because of the fact that they don't need to trade either of these guys right now. Obviously, they'd like to not lose them for nothing, but they could wait until the deadline. They could wait until really everything is sort of settled in. You're getting closer to spring training. They have the opportunity to wait. And so for the Red Sox, that means you're going to give up a pretty big package. Cutter Crawford may not be the youngest pitcher on the team, but he was absolutely fantastic in 2023. His outlying metrics point to him being a really solid pitcher in the future. And you throw him into a pitching lab like Milwaukee, he could be a really great asset for the Brewers. Ceddanne Rafael is a top 100 prospect with elite defense and a really high offensive ceiling. Nick Yorke York, really high offensive ceiling. And then you've got Josh Winkowski, who is really solid in 2023. And the Red Sox feel as though he could even get back into starting, right? Those are some pretty decent names that you're giving up to the Milwaukee Brewers. But in my opinion, this is this type of deal that gets it done. Right now, the Brewers could use an injection of young, talented pitching. They could get Cutter Crawford and Josh Winkowski. They also need some young, controllable infield players. Now you've got, say, Don Rafaela, who could play shortstop to a potential Gold Glove level. And you've got Nick York as well, who could slide into second base, or you could stick him into a corner outfield. You can do whatever you want with him because you got to get him on the field to get that bat, right? That's sort of what I'm thinking here in terms of a package you're giving up. And it almost feels like a perfect match between the Red Sox and the Brewers. We fill their needs, they fill our needs. And I know it's a hefty price tag, but that's what happens when you can't develop your own pitching prospects. You're going to have to get them somewhere. It's either going to come by money or it's going to come by prospects. And in this case, it may have to come from both. And if I'm the Red Sox, I'm doing this deal every single day of the week. If they have full confidence that once Burnes gets here, you can keep him here for 4, 5, 6, 7 more years. Honestly, when we're taking a look at the likelihood of this trade, it's probably pretty small. The Red Sox, again, are still looking for controllable young starters. We don't know if they'd be willing to do something like this. We also don't know if the Brewers are actually in the market to trade either one of these guys. It feels like every other week the Burnes is available or Adames is available or neither are available, right? We have no idea where their head's at. Personally, I don't know if this trade would even likely happen, but I just think this would be too perfect of a trading opportunity for the Red Sox to scoff their head at. This to me feels like exactly what the Red Sox need to do, especially if they let Yamamoto slip through the grass, which honestly they may not even have any control over. If they want to be able to flex that spending, this may be the best way to do it. And I genuinely think this solves a lot of the Red Sox problems. You get Burnes, you could fill out the rest of your rotation on the free agent market. You get Adames, you don't need to worry about the rest of your positional players. This would be sort of a perfect trade for the Red Sox. And I think for the right price, the Brewers would be willing to part with these guys. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think that these are players the Red Sox should target? What do you think of my package? What package would you send? And if you were the Brewers or the Red Sox, who is saying no? Let me know all your thoughts on this trade proposal in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, we are going to be live tomorrow night, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.